Welcome to Evidence for the Hope Ministries. I'm Reverend David Brown. You know, there's amazing design found in each and every living thing in this world, and each is different in many ways from the other. Since the days of Charles Darwin, evolutionists have contended that there is no design in nature, that all things evolve slowly over millions of years by way of accidental mutations in the genes. They contend there was no planning to anything, and that all things were once part of that first living cell that came to life from something that had no DNA at all, something that had no life. Therefore, life didn't come from life, but from non-life, according to them. You're related to the trees, the grass, and the bugs in your yard, in other words. Consider, if you will, the humble woodpecker. Now, the average woodpecker, he pounds hard against wood 5 to 6 hours every day. Now, if we did that, we'd either die of a concussion or get the world's worst headache. Yet the woodpecker, after he's done, flies off in a straight line after dining on whatever's underneath that bark. How's that possible? Well, he too is fearfully and wonderfully made. First, a woodpecker can walk up and down a tree, straight up and down. Most birds have to perch on a limb. His feet are nothing like other birds, though. You see, woodpeckers have 2 toes, pointing forwards and pointing downwards, allowing them to grasp the tree as they walk up and down it. It's the only bird that has a spongy pad between its skull and its elongated bill. This acts like a shock absorber. You see, other birds' skulls and bills are fused together. It's the reason that a woodpecker doesn't knock itself out when he bangs against that tree. In experiments, some woodpeckers have even pounded their way into specially designed concrete bird-proof boxes to get at the bugs within the concrete box. But how does it know that the bugs are there? Well, it has special hearing that most birds don't have, most animals don't have. It can actually hear the bugs walking up and down slowly underneath that bark. When it finds a bug, it uses one of the openings that the bug is already bored in the tree, and it taps just below it, driving the bug towards that opening. It's here that another feature comes into play when the bug goes up there. The woodpecker's tongue is not fastened to the back of the mouth, as is all the other birds. It's fastened to the top of its skull and coiled up like line on a fishing reel or a fire hose. This tongue can actually be longer than the bird itself. Placing the tongue inside of the borehole, it shoves it down towards the bug, knowing exactly where that bug is. And once uncoiled, another feature of the tongue comes into play. It emits a special glue at the tip of the tongue that actually sticks to the bug. Without this distinct glue, that bug could easily escape when it feels the tongue touching it. The tongue is then recoiled and the bug becomes dinner. Now, I have a question. Which part of all these features of the woodpecker evolved first? Or did every part have to be there in the beginning in order for it to survive at all? Consider its feathers. For every feather on the right side of any bird, there's an exact duplicate on the left side. It has to be precisely the same length, the same width, have the same number of barbs, and be in exactly the same spot as its equivalent on the other side. Otherwise, birds wouldn't be able to fly. Or they could fly, but that would have to be haphazardly, or they would simply fly in circles. And also, have you ever seen ducks preening themselves or birds sitting in the rain while the water simply runs off of them? You see, birds have a very special waterproofing oil that's emitted by their body onto their feathers by their beaks. Without this oil, birds wouldn't be able to fly until the feathers dried. This makes them extremely vulnerable to attackers. Also, how often do we see birds floating on nearly frozen water for hours? There are special oils, downy feathers, and other specially designed features that keep them from feeling the cold or freezing. And then the birds have special jobs to perform. Some are scavengers. Some eat seeds voraciously. Some actually of the water birds get fish eggs entangled on their legs and disperse them in diverse spots, creating new spots for fish to be born. There are thousands of more design features in birds. These are not accidents. I sometimes wonder if the devil tries to see how much absurdity we'll believe. For example, the evolutionists tell us that tiny birds evolved from dinosaurs. Now, try comparing a wren to a Tyrannosaurus rex. Really? Dinosaurs are giant lizards with completely different bone structures than birds. The bird's bones are hollow and they're lightweight. The dinosaur bone is nearly a solid mass. Birds have extremely different types of lungs. And birds are warm-blooded creatures, but dinosaurs are lizards. That's cold-blooded creatures. Dinosaurs had scales. Birds had feathers. Evolutionists say that feathers came from dinosaurs, scratching themselves and shredding their scales. Really? Again? All of this evolution, they say, came by way of accidental mutations of the genes over tens of millions of years. Their story says there's no design in nature. Seriously? Accidents? Is a woodpecker a case for accidental evolution from dinosaurs, or a case for specific design from a creator? I choose that there had to be a creator. My book, Learning the ABCs, Apologetics, the Bible, and Creation, should be out in January of 2019. It's an evangelical tool that can help lead many to Christ and will enlarge the faith of Christians. Look for us at evidenceforthehope.org or Evidence for the Hope Ministries.